Market, and I think Eastern Market has stands.
Like anything else.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Everybody had a chance to look over the minutes from last month. Is there any questions, corrections? I'll take a motion to file, the secretary file them.
I will make that motion.
Motion by Greg. Second by Deb. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any public comment? Okay. Engineers report.
If we can come back to that a little later, I checked the emails this evening and I hadn't received the bids yet, so I texted one of the folks from James R. Holly, and I think they sent it to the old email, and I can't access it through my phone, so I haven't sent it to a different email, so we'll check that and get back to that later, that's okay.
Put that down at the bottom of the page. All right, Church Street.
Yeah, we have here, as you know, the bids came well under what we had funding for. So we do have here an amendatory contract number 1 from the York County Planning Commission. And they would like us to approve that, which reduces it by $65,000, which still gives us a little cushion for any change orders and so forth.
Questions?
That was gonna be one of my questions, because I know we always, it seems like every project we do, you always run into something
Yeah.
that they have.
No, we still have available more than what's,
Okay.
yeah. You need a motion.
Need a motion to accept the number from, this is from Holly, or this is from the county?
Yes, the County Planning Commission for the block grant.
I will make a motion to accept the numbers for the block grant.
Motion by Gary,
I'll second.
second by Mark. Any questions on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Anything else on the engineer for you?
They're not at this point.
All right, solicitors report.
Okay, nothing new on the mediation, and Sam's not here. We'll have a police report for you next month.
Anything for the solicitor? All right, zoning codes.
For those in the audience that would like a copy of the report, let me know and I'll email it to you later. I'll be trying to print it on the new printer. I can get the black and white, but not the color, so I'll email it if you let me know. Anybody else want a copy of it? If you do, just let me know after the meeting.
Brandon, you got mine.
Appreciate it. All right. Yeah, I don't really have anything in particular to add. If anyone have any questions of me?
I assume we're ready for grass and all that. We're using smooth cut again if we need to, I'm guessing. Right?
Yeah, yes. And I did check with the maintenance department down at Shrewsbury Township, and they actually have someone licensed, so they'll take care of the weeds.
Right.
If not the end of this week, definitely next week. So, yep.
All right, anything else for zoning? All right, fire, Albert?
Nothing.
Good.
Nothing good right now.
Scott?
Nothing at this time for EMA.
Can I ask Scott a question?
Yeah.
Scott, I have a question. I have people asking me, when is it ever going to be that we can change this yard sale instead of in the summer to like April or May? I thought I would ask you. I have people asking me saying they don't want to do it in the summertime, it's too hot. And I thought, is there any way that the fair, and I know you're in charge because Lynn did it years ago. Now he's dead, and I'm just trying to figure out Is there any way we can do this in the spring?
We'll just redirect that to Albert.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You need to direct it him, okay.
Yep.
Albert, can you give me an answer, because I
I
have people asking
I can
me.
pass it on, as passed on before,
Okay.
and
And my understanding, Deb, is the yard sale, they can have a yard sale anytime they want. Anybody can.
yes, it's not set in stone, this is
This,
just
the
done.
fire company has never really even promoted, they just promote the spot because they have a chicken barbecue that weekend.
Oh,
And
okay.
it's been like that.
Right.
And they promote, if somebody wants to set up in their parking lot.
So in other words, you don't have to have a permit.
We
for
don't,
fireworks.
the borough does not require a permit, that's why it's not a borough
Yeah, it is.
sanctioned, quote unquote sanctioned event or a free event where many, like Take New Salem, I believe,
Yeah,
they charge a fee to have a yard sale, that's why they do a community yard sale, and if I'm not mistaken, they waive that fee for those weekends.
Okay, because I know just the end of the
Yeah,
last weekend in April, they had theirs,
But-
and I thought, okay, I'm just gonna.
But again, it's my understanding, we had 3 last year, 3 dates, and, I know the one was kind of rained out, it was a rainy day, a rainy weekend, that first weekend, and that's what you have
Right.
every spring chance, but again, anybody can have
I don't
necessary.
have it, I take all my stuff,
Yeah,
Grace,
yeah,
well, now
yeah.
it's called Genesis, I take all my
Yeah.
stuff there, I don't mess with it,
Yeah.
because I don't wanna have to take it
yeah.
and bring it back and put the tent down, so I just take all my stuff.
So, in reality, the fire company never really said this is a community yard sale. This is
Oh, okay,
they promoted it as a chicken barbecue where they promoted their own space, and
Right, okay.
it just always has been like that,
Yeah.
Well, it was permitted as a community yard sale, that we always posted it on.
Yeah.
It was.
Right.
it was permitted.
And that's, when, like I said, going back, years that I remember, everybody in the whole entire town participated, always the second Saturday in July. But nothing was ever, we never just said, okay, this is the town yard sale, but
Right.
we never made that, we just set it aside for that second Saturday because of.
yeah, like I said, I had people in, I thought,
Yeah,
well,
you all-
I don't mess with it, because I
Yeah.
just take all my stuff.
You all can, do the town yard sale whenever you want to, as far as that, they were just, fire company only did it just for a fundraiser.
Okay,
Just by point of correction, New Salem does not charge a fee for a yard sale. What they did do was they would pay for the advertisement in the paper. And they would pay to make the signs that were kept and put up each year. So most people wanted to do it at that time because it was advertised. But if you did not want to that weekend, you could have it the next weekend. You advertise it yourself.
okay.
So it was that type of a cost.
Yeah.
So I think it's the same as in Seven Valley Borough. You can have a yard sale anytime you want. But since the fire company sort of advertises on their sign,
Yeah.
then most people would have it that time because it's free advertising.
It drew in, people.
Right.
Yeah.
And the communities just got involved that same day and just followed suit.
Sure.
And like I said, it was never nothing, etched in stone for when, anybody wants to have a yard
That's
sale.
right.
And I don't know how early you want it, but now they do have a event usually the first weekend in April.
Yeah.
And now, but we get into the same, where it could be cold and rainy too at that time, and they have their chicken barbecue and trout opening days usually that same weekend. So if the community would like, to do another one, that would might be too early, but that could be a good weekend to look at.
The 2 dates that were on last year, was there something in the spring newsletter last year on it?
I was the one who,
Right.
put those dates together.
Were they in the newsletter, in the spring newsletter?
They were, it was 3 dates.
And I put it on the different Facebook groups.
Okay.
The reason that it's important for the community to do all at once is if you're just a one-off person, what are the
Yeah.
chances somebody's gonna drive by?
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, thank you.
I don't have anything on regional parks. Not other than the written report that Joe provided. Unfinished business. I don't have anything.
All right, Zoom here on board, Rich.
We received an email from Beth Kiner, who is resigning from the zoning hearing board effective immediately. So we'll need to find someone to appoint to fill that position. So it's a total of 3 members of the zoning hearing board. They meet when needed. I think we met about 2 months ago for 71 Main Street. And according to them, that was the first time in about 5 years. So it's not a group that meets very often. So it's up to council, but anyone that's interested, I would say, let me know or one of the council members.
See if we get any interest between now and the next meeting and go from there.
Yep.
Because it's nothing has to be filled within 30 days or anything like that.
No, this one doesn't. We would appoint somebody to fill the remainder of her 3-year term. So whatever, and that does have to be done by resolution. So we ahead of time. We can do a fill in the blank.
Yep.
If you get more than one person. The other thing to keep in mind too, we do not at this time have an alternate, did we, Todd?
No, we do not.
We also have under the law, you can have up to 2 alternates for a 3-member board. So if you have more than, not that anybody's looking to have a lot of business, but if you have if for any reason get more than one person interested, I know it's usually hard to pull teeth to get one, but if you end up getting more than one, we can always put an alternate on the board just so there's somebody there.
I'd be interested.
Okay, well, shoot an email or whatever.
Yep, shoot an email over.
If anyone else is interested, whether you're in this room or you're listening, just shoot an email or give me a call. If anyone's interested in a little more of what's involved, I'd be happy to sit down and go over that with you as well. So, okay.
It is a position that requires you to submit a statement of financial interest, just so you know, because you do make decisions.
Yeah.
Sometimes I've had people in other municipalities that they're all set to do it, and it's like, I don't want to let anybody know how much debt I have in credit cards, things like that. So just let you know.
Any other new business?
No.
All right, treasurer's report, anything out of the ordinary?
No. If anyone has any
Any
questions?
questions on the
The only
report?
thing I do want to mention is, I did send an email to all of council and everyone. I don't know, Orrstown Bank, I am not very happy with them.
Nobody is.
I made a phone call to get the new account set up. I received a phone call, of course I couldn't answer. I've made 3 more phone calls since then, I've never received a call back. So what I've done in the meantime is, doesn't matter where we set them up, they're being set up through Pliget. And I got an email from them on Thursday and said that they were out for approval and they should be active in 2 to 3 days. So I didn't check the site today to see if they're active, but so what will happen is anyone that wants to make a contribution to the rec commission, you'll do what you would always do, make the check payable to 7 Valleys Borough, just put a note there on the recreation fund on the memo line. We'll deposit it locally and then we'll transfer it electronically into the recreation fund. And then we'll have a record of who made those deposits.
So I'm not quite sure what funds we're setting up at Pliget now.
For the
Other than what-
recreation and for the building.
Recreation. Oh, and for the building.
Mhm.
So all the ARPA money is gone from
Correct.
there. So we have just,
So the only thing at Orrstown is only a checking account.
okay, and you're just depositing and then transferring.
Correct. Yeah. And we also use that account, the tax collector uses Orrstown Bank, so she sends me an email when she's ready to have a deposit made for the borough, and then I go in and do that electronically.
Okay, as long as it works.
I remember the charging paper statement fees now too.
Yeah, no, we don't get
Okay.
those. Yeah.
All right, if nothing else, I will take a motion to accept the file statement for all that and have the treasurer pay any regular bills until the next meeting.
I will make that motion.
Motion by Greg, second by Greg. All in favor? Opposed? Secretary report.
Was Rodney included in that? Rodney?
Just got his hours.
Just got his hours
Okay,
now.
yeah, just got the hours tonight, so.
But I can cut the check here this week. The only thing I have, I did email everyone after the last, I think it was the last meeting. I requested a copy of the earned income tax rolls for the borough. And I know I looked through them and I sent them out there to everybody else. There's several names on there that I know are residents and I know work but aren't paying earned income tax. So they may be, and York County's tax bureau may have coded them to the wrong municipality. So I don't want to say they're not paying anything. It's just that we're not receiving those funds. And again, they could be miscoded or something. So probably this weekend, I'm going to send in that list. So if anyone knows of anyone else additionally that I may have missed, please let me know.
Did we ever find out who lived in some of those apartments that we don't know about? How can we find out? I mean, we have on our ordinance somewhere, it says that
Do we have a tenant registration?
I'm pretty certain that we do. It might have had to do with the sewer billing or something.
I don't remember.
I'd say it used to always be called through the per capita tax, but we don't have that anymore.
Now, I remember, or maybe it was with trash. It was something that they had to send in.
I don't remember us ever having a tenant registration ordinance.
I was also, because I remember, was it White Rose, whatever, used to always send them to us.
Well,
And it was when we had the per capita tax. I think it might have been in connection with that. But I do remember that they had to do that.
I feel like we did talk about that a while back when, I don't think we ever did it, but when the building codes enforcement, and you remember when we were doing zoning and door hangers?
It was before that.
I know, but I feel like it was brought up then too, so that makes me wonder if it was actually ever in an ordinance at that time. I don't know why we would have talked about it, you know. Cause you remember when John McLucas, we were thinking about doing door hangers or something and for code violations, but I don't think we ever went through that. And I think there was something said about renters and all that at that time. But like I said, I know that never went into effect.
Yeah, other than tenant registration, I'm not sure how they do
I'm not seeing anything in the index or the table of contents. Double check, let me know. I don't remember us ever having one or anybody ever submitting. I mean, because the forms would have to be submitted to the borough for tenants, and I don't know that you've ever gotten it.
You didn't see it in the trash section, like when we collect trash?
No, because that goes to the owner. The owner's responsible for trash. And the only thing I saw for registration was if an employer under the EIT tax has to get all their employees so that the earned income tax or the LST tax rather comes to the borough.
I'll check it
Please
out.
do.
Anything else? You're good? Mayor's report?
Well, as you can see, the road's been closed. I think we're hoping for as fast as we can. I did take notice too already that I think I'm going to reach out to either York County Parks Maintenance to look at maybe some signs. There's already, as you know, Maple Street's going to be hit hard. Close calls are going to be, I'm sure a big thing, especially out what we all know is the Preston Stein Farm. The lower end of Cherry Street, of course, too, they're trying to make a left and speed up to a dead end. So I don't know, in the meantime, if they can maybe move some signage, maybe add a couple signs, but it's something that I would hope, let me try to reach out to Josh from York County Parks tomorrow, or, if I get home early enough and they're still working, I can see who the superintendent or
I was
whoever's
gonna
down
say, I
there.
have the contact info for the superintendent of the project for Kinsley. I can send that to you.
Okay, yeah, if you would. Other than that, I have nothing. As far as the next meeting in June, I will be away at the State Road Association, annual meeting in Hershey. So I look forward to, going to that, and I thank Borough Council for letting me attend. And other than that, I have nothing else at this point.
Thank you. Ranger still at 2.
Hey, Zach.
Yeah.
He's raising his hand.
I just wanted to make a comment on what he was talking about with Cherry Street. I live on Cherry Street, and today twice, people came up the wrong way. It's one-way street, because they don't know where they're going.
On the backside.
And they don't see the 3 signs that tell you what to go.
Past the store.
I don't know if there's any way to fix that.
They're the same people that never saw the signs, don't hit the bridge.
Yeah.
Maybe say something to him about the north side, or the south side of it.
Yeah, see if they have temporary signs or something. Okay.
The sewer report. Anyone sewer report? I have nothing.
I didn't see anything out of the ordinary. I also noted it looks like your delinquent accounts are very low, which is always a good thing.
Go back to, South Street that came in. All right, the, James R. Holly, the township engineer, had a bid opening this morning at 10 o'clock. The project was, publicly advertised for bids. This is for all of South Street from the Borough line down to Maple Street. It's for base repair, leveling course, and then calibrated chipping, also known as chip and tar. There were 2 bids received. One was for Russell Standard Corporation. Their total bid was $118,050. And the second bid was from Stewart Tate Incorporated. Their total bid was $161,310. And we budgeted $125,000.
What's the name of the first one that you did?
Russell Standard.
Do we know them?
I know them. They do a lot of work for us. No, we do the base repair where they just do the calibrated chipping, but we've been always happy with everything they've done. So.
What's the timetable to award the bid? Can we give them a notice that they're the apparent low bidder, or do we have to do the award tonight?
I would suggest that we do award upon
Subject to final
To the
review,
final review.
providing all the necessary documents and bonds, et cetera. You can do that. There's quite a difference there.
Yeah.
And again, this is not something that's unusual. You think when you see that much of a difference that somebody messed something up, but I've been seeing that a lot so far this year. And that's why I would certainly suggest doing a conditional award to the apparent low bidder.
Questions or comments from council?
So that could probably be awarded, next month, if they, how long will it take them to get there?
Well, what you could do, I mean, what Mike was saying is you can make a motion tonight and vote on it to do a conditional approval, which basically means provided upon the review, the numbers are correct, the math is right, and they provide all the documentation, the bonding and everything. Then it does need to come back, council. But if there's a problem, then they'll come back.
Yeah, we have an obligation to award to what's called the lowest responsible bidder. And clearly Russell is the lowest cash bidder. So what we can do is we can award it to Russell, subject to final review by the engineer and myself, and then providing all necessary documents to meet the requirements of the bid.
Does all this include engineering?
That number is
No.
just there.
That's just theirs. Yep.
motion for that?
Yes, we will do it.
I will make a motion for that. All of the above. What Mike just described.
All right, motion by Gary,
I'm sorry.
second by Mark,
For Russell Standard.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, anything else, Todd?
No.
Mike,
Nothing.
Greg?
No.
Sure.
I have. At this time, I have this award that I would like to present that I have been holding because I lost it, but I have found it. So this award is in recognition from the Boroughs Association, a service award to Gregory Conard, in recognition of 30 years of service to Seven Valleys Borough.
Anything else, Cheryl?
I think that's all I have.
Garrett. Is either of the speed signs working? Is the one coming down the hill working? Is the one on,
Church Street was not when I came in tonight.
I'll try to,
no.
I can see if I can reset it.
And there was a no parking sign at 135 Church Street that, right out in my driveway, that was taken off. Not just bent, and it was, somebody hit her hard. And that's a heavy piece of metal.
I see the picture.
So I don't know who would, we replace some signs, or that's on 214?
That's ours.
There's nothing salvageable. Maybe a bolt.
Is the post
We'll give you
on
both
too?
too.
I think we have to.
Do you have the sign?
Yeah, but that's, I don't think,
It's smashed.
yeah, I don't think that's,
Is the post gone as well?
it's, yeah, it's, yeah.
It's
It's,
like
yeah,
It's an S.
it's
Is
a-
it a square or a W?
it's a square.
Square. I don't think we have any squares up in the jail storage. I'd have to look, or,
Got the locations on?
And other than that, Albert, before we adjourn today, can I get your number?
Yes.
To call for, is there a burn ban?
No.
it's not.
Okay. So we got that coming up in what, 2 weeks?
Okay, yeah, I'll get you a number right now.
Yep. Okay. Or if I get it, yep. That's it.
Mark? Greg? All right, going back up to public comment. Go ahead, Brad.
All right, thank you. Real quickly, I want to thank everybody on board for doing the playground thing with me to the borough. I had promised I'm getting my check tonight in donation towards the borough. Okay.
Great.
Also, next year, I'm hoping, I haven't sent this out yet, I haven't been in touch with Kate Kane or any of those, but it's my goal to hope to have in 2026 on July 4th, maybe a nice community party. I'm thinking maybe it could be a vintage day sort of thing, you know, whatever. I'm gonna reach out to also the North Central, down in New Freedom there, and see hopefully the bridge is fixed by that time in 2026. That there's no further access, that maybe they can run the train up again like they did a few years ago. That was really memorable for me and my son. And so I just want to let the board know this is something I'll be working on. If there's any support, I'd be glad to hear from it. And as of right now, I didn't even have a flyer print up. I haven't had time to work over it. It's been on my heart for the last couple of months, so I thought I'd share it tonight. And thank you again for the moment to help serve this community.
Brandon, what was that date I missed that?
July 4th of 2026. That gives us a year and a month or two to get together. I hope for it. So
Thank you for the donation for the playground.
you are welcome, most welcome.
Jessica?
I just wanted to, I got confused, Todd, when you were speaking about the bank account. So is there a dedicated account for the playground or,
Yes.
okay, so like, it's got its own checking information, everything? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cause we're gonna set up, an online donation form. So I just wanna
Okay.
make sure it wasn't like going through and being transferred.
It will be transferred. We have to because Pliget is based out of Harrisburg. So I'm not driving to Harrisburg to deposits.
They don't do online banking?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It will be transferred. So what'll happen, when I get like this check, I'll deposit this at Orrstown Bank, and then I'll just do an ACH purchase through Pliget, and it'll transfer it out of our account.
Okay,
put it
but
in that
the account
designated-
is,
Yeah,
okay.
but that money will be used strictly for the
Okay,
playground.
so like if I, give you a check,
Mhm.
then it gets, it's in its, like a specific, checking account
Right.
for the playground.
Mhm.
Okay, that's all I wanted to clarify. I just
We'll
got
be able to go into
confused.
that account and print out at any point in time, you know, who gave the donation, what the amount was.
Okay, cool.
Any other public comment? All right, thanks everybody for coming.
Gee, silly. Is the record yet?
Talking Crown Wednesday. Last one.
Can I sit there with my fly rod?
You can. Yes, you can.
With popcorn?
See,